Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Spawn. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day today. For those of you who don't know what's going on, this is everybody's favorite COD Mobile Esports talk show podcast. I don't think we can really call it a podcast because we're not on like any podcast platforms, but you know, once we get our crap together, we probably will be. But we're joined by some of the best COD Mobile players in the world tonight, and some of the podcast co-hosts of all time. We're joined by the one and only Verdict, everybody's favorite North American, EU, every region caster. We got Hippo, coach of Luminosity, and Little B, who plays Arena Breakout.
Okay, dude.
As you guys can see, we're also joined by a couple of pro players, and we'll have a couple more joining us later on. Jesus Can Save You from formerly Simplicity, now Team Mayhem, and Scott from Devious. So tonight is all about breaking down the North American Stage 4 action that is coming up next weekend. Verdict, how you feeling leading up to it?
Oh, man, I feel great because we're going to be, watch partying it from home. But I'm definitely excited to see what's going to come of. You know, we've already had some major upsets in a lot of them, South America as well as Europe, and we're dying to know, is the 7-0 curse going to continue on, Bobby?
Well, I know what Scott's hope for that is. So curious to hear his thoughts. Hippo, obviously, you got a little bit of a dog in the fight coming up to Stage 4. How are you feeling leading up to things?
Yeah, I mean, the 7-0 curse has always been in the back of my mind. You know, I've been praying about it every day. But overall,
Please, COD gods!
like literally, just Lord. I mean, I know Jesus is here, so I don't know if it's right to say Jesus. But yeah, I mean, I think we feel pretty confident. I think we're gonna be okay. Don't want to get overconfident because Scott. We know Devious is a really respectable team. So yeah, feeling good though.
All right, Little B, you are going to have the opportunity to watch party. So which team are you most excited to watch?
I'm actually, I'm always loving the underdog stories. So obviously I'm going to look at what Devious can bring to the table. People always saying in the community saying that, they got lucky because of the dice situation. But, that should be, we'll see if he can prove himself on stage. And most of those players, I'm pretty sure that team doesn't have any like LAN experience or same as Mayhem, so it's going to be good to watch those two play if they do.
All right, well, heading on over to our guest, Jesus, we'll talk to you first. Obviously, one of the talking points is an organization that we're pretty big fans of, Mobile Mayhem, picking up the Simplicity roster, so you guys are now Team Mayhem. Have there been any changes for you guys in regards to whatever it is? I know you guys have a coach. I don't know if that was your coach before, but anything that you feel like has changed maybe your perspective leading into Stage 4?
I mean, the biggest thing right now is just adjusting to the new phone. Like, some of my teammates, I'm the only one who has it, basically. All the rest don't. So that's going to be a little bit of a disadvantage come time. I know all the other teams like LG guys, Tribe, they have it. I'm pretty sure, I don't know this for sure, Scott, but I'm pretty sure, who is it, like Rehan or somebody had it on your guys' team. I'm not sure about the others, but that's the biggest thing. As if we can get adjusted to the phone, I think we'll be pretty solid. Because right now, with the addition of our coach, we've been doing a lot better, and it's gonna continue that way.
Who is your coach?
It's KBR. He was the Inco coach last year when
Okay.
they got third. Yeah.
All right. Well, Scott, obviously you guys are you're definitely the underdogs, but some would say that you have the 7-0 curse on your side. So how are you guys feeling leading up to things?
I had a little bit of a bone to pick with you, saying that you didn't think we would win a map last week, but then you did.
Did I say that?
Did follow that up. You said you were a Scott fan right after that, so I couldn't be too mad about it. I don't always get the Scott fan thing. That's kind of a interesting comment or something that I don't see a lot, so I did appreciate that. But I think like we have a good opportunity because we're kind of the underdog. It kind of lets us play more free, and we're not as concerned with expectations. Like I said, I mean, it's all in fun. I mean, you can have your opinion if you want, but it's like we're not really expected to make that much of an impact. So for us, like anything is going to be a step up. And I think once we get some things sorted out, we can definitely compete with the best of them, as we've shown. And the series with Dice was just unfortunate. And that's one thing I wanted to clear up a little bit was I think some people were saying that we waited like 5 minutes and then tried to DQ them, but we were in the lobby for much longer than was needed, and we never really called for it. And ultimately the admins made the decision, but we were really wanting to compete. I mean, they're a really solid team. We felt confident we could win it, but would have been nice to prove that we could win it. So that was unfortunate from obviously their standpoint, but our standpoint as well.
Yeah, somebody who was casting that match, I honestly thought they got a lot more time than I expected that they would. Like, I felt like we were sitting around for a long time waiting for the admins to figure out what was going to happen. So obviously not everybody on broadcast ever gets to see what happens, because there's a lot of like stuff on the front end that we cover with the broadcast and everything else. But yeah, I definitely think you guys have a good chance. Obviously we haven't really gotten to see much of the North American competition basically ever since stage 4 verdict. I'll pass things over to you to ask a couple questions.
Yeah, I think both of you guys have tremendous amount of chances. Obviously, Scott, you're riding in on that 7-0 curse wave. It's already plagued EU. It's already plagued Latin and South America. The one thing that I have like major concern for is, and it's not for you particular. I know a little bit of your background. I was a collegiate athlete as well, and I know you have a certain seriousness about you as you check Bobby as soon as you came in the door. We love to see that whenever we get an opportunity. Have you met the Devious guys yet? That's my first question. And my second question is, how do you plan to tame that beast? Because, I mean, it's not a saying in North America for no reason. Stay Devious is not just a lifestyle, but it has plagued North America for so long. What's the game plan coming in, going on to that second question?
We honestly had a really good practice today, which I know Bobby's also a basketball fan. I don't know if he remembers D'Angelo Russell getting in trouble for sharing some locker room stuff a few years ago. So I don't want to be like that, but we have been having our fair share of struggles kind of in the background. But I think it was maybe after today almost for the better that it kind of calmed down. Obviously we do want to stay devious, but like that devious attitude that is a little more notorious than praised. So I think, especially being in person, I think it's going to be interesting because this is all of our first lands. I know even Mayhem has Blur and Jesus from last year, but for us, like it's going to be our first land. So I think it may be just being in person. Obviously there will be nerves in terms of performing like that, but in terms of personality, I think it may rein people in a little bit, which could make it easier. I mean, Resolve calls me the dad of the team, or just calls me dad when I join VC. So I think maybe I can watch over my kids and keep them in line. But I'm not super worried about that, to be honest. Once we get there, like I said, we had a bit of a rough patch, but I don't need to get into that. But things are looking up now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how they couldn't respect the mustache. Papa Scott's going to have everybody in line. I feel like you guys are going to handle everything swimmingly. Exactly. All right, Adam, question for you, man. I want to take it back to last year. We meet. You're super. I mean, look at you. Everything that you're dressed like right now is exactly how we were, introduced. You're Rico Suave. You're cool. You're calm, collective. But I gotta ask you,
Appreciate it,
because you did play last year, but you didn't get a chance to play on, in stage 5. You didn't get a chance. This is your first LAN. How are you?
I played one skate. So I played one series. It was versus Nova, and that's where we 3-0'd them. But after that, I didn't play anything else. So with the time that I did have LG playing Nova, honestly, it was not bad at all. I was
All right.
more so confident because I knew like the time that me and my team had put in at that point, and like the chemistry on LG, the players, it was just like so confident in my teammates and knowing what we've done that it was not an issue. And translating that to this year with my team with Mayhem, I think it'll be pretty much more or less the same, but obviously a little bit of a different dynamic since they're different players. Because we have a good relationship, we've been putting in the time, we've been understanding our mistakes and working at fixing them. So honestly, I'm not nervous. I'm more so excited. And talking to my teammates, it's the same thing. Going in confident and excited.
Well, okay, I want to add on to that then.
Okay, yeah.
Besides Blur, who is your most concerning player coming in, and who is the person that you're like least worried about?
When you say most concerning, you mean like most deadly? Just to make sure I'm on the same page.
Just concerning, like I don't know how this guy's gonna play that day. Like obviously you've been getting a lot of practice in. You've had pretty good practices recently, but what's the vibe like? Who are you getting good vibes from, and who are you getting kind of like questionable vibes from?
Okay, so I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not gonna answer that completely transparent, just for for competitive reasons.
I can read through it.
So what I'll say is this: we're all gonna come in confident.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
That's what I can say. Because I know if I say something, someone is gonna.
I just want to feel where like the nerves are, so I can maybe tiptoe across them next time. I don't want you to get too nervy though and step back and pull your whole brassiere back or your robe.
No, only good.
All
only
right.
Good.
All right, I'll throw things over to Little B as the former competitor. Any insights? Any questions?
The only thing I have to ask both of you guys is that obviously we all know that Tribe and LG are the number 1 and number 2 team, and everybody expecting them to qualify, and most people in the public thinking both of you guys are going to compete for that 3rd spot, like how I did last year versus you Jesus with the Cold Chow roster. So obviously the 7-0 curse is out there, Hippo. Just letting you guys know that. And also, so how do you, from both of you guys' perspective, how do you feel confident if you guys are to match up each other? You know what I'm saying? Like, I know sooner or later you guys will be matching against each other. So how are you guys feeling about that?
You can go ahead first, Scott.
Sure. I mean, I think with seeding for us, like Tribe and LG are both just so strong that it was kind of a toss-up, whatever was going to happen there. So getting that first-round matchup, I think we kind of expected that. But I mean, there's no easy team in this anymore. And I mean, I don't want to disrespect other teams that were in the regular season, but obviously there's a lower half and an upper half. But now we're coming in as technically the lowest point. So every match for us is going to be challenging. So I think that kind of helps in terms of taking things seriously. There won't be a lack of focus because we know that we have to be ready because we're the ones that are expected to lose, where before there was probably 3 or 4 teams that were expected to win. So coming to this situation, I think it's just going to be a matter of, like I said, staying focused and not taking any game lightly because we know what all these teams are capable of. Obviously, Tribe and LG, but also how really strong that Mayhem has been, and especially we lost to them. I think it was the first day of the regular season. It was like a 3-1. So no teams to take lightly, but everyone's talented at this point.
All right, what about you, Jesus?
On my end, I mean, call me crazy, call me delusional, but I don't know why. Since like the whole stage 4 was happening, there's like an underlying super confidence going into it. I don't know why, but there just is. So I think definitely there's no team to take lightly because everybody is at the highest level and everybody's improving and really good. But at the same time, I just know when we're on point what we can do. So not underestimating anybody, but not also being how do I say it, passive or like a prey. Going in with the mindset of a predator. That's kind of how we're taking it.
Yeah.
I like it. Hippo, Coach Hippo, any questions?
Yeah. I mean, my big thing is, I mean, as Little B mentioned, and well, really everybody here has mentioned, like, y'all happen to be facing up against, the 2 top teams, right? That are kind of going into this, the 2 top seeds that are coming into this. So I guess my question that I have for you guys is mentally where you guys are kind of at in terms of that particular matchup. Like, you know, and I would like to know, like, you know, I don't need any details. I feel like that's
He's trying to get the inside information right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
You know me, but not. But you know, for me, I think the big question is exactly just that, like mentally, especially because you know, I think there's also kind of like the disadvantage that there's like two layers, right, of it, where y'all have the task to, you know, how to beat each of us, whether it be Tribe or LG. But that in addition to that, you also have to do it in a LAN, like a LAN situation where y'all's teams are the ones that have the least amount of, I guess, experience in LAN. So considering all of that, like how are you guys preparing for that? You know, and like what mental state are you guys in for that in particular? You know, I'm kind of curious to hear how you guys are.
I'll take it, I guess, to start with. But to me, I mean, I've been in, as Verdi mentioned, like in real sports. No offense to sports, but actual athletics. Like I've been an underdog in those situations as well, and I kind of enjoyed, as Jesus said, like being the predator more than being the one that's being hunted. So I think like when I think about this situation, and like I said, going back to Bobby's prediction of last week, and also seeing people on Twitter saying things like that, I try to cut out the noise as much as I can. But of course, someone says, who's going to make it? Who do you think the top three will be? And you're not in any of the responses. You kind of notice that. But in my mind, like I think if we lose to one of these teams, nobody's really going to remember that. But if we're able to beat one of these teams, then no one's going to forget that. So to me, it's like coming in with that chip on the shoulder that we have something to prove, but also knowing like the bottom end is doing exactly what is expected of us. So there's no expectations. Like we don't have a true coach. Our player manager, Zolf is our manager, and we don't have any sponsors. So for us, it's like taking that as, like I said, I mean, that looks like a huge disadvantage, but in our mindset, I think we're taking that as an advantage and saying, like I said, playing loose and playing free and able to execute on the things we practiced instead of getting too tight and like thinking that we have someone to play for or really expectations to fulfill.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Sounds
Jesus,
good.
anything
So,
to add?
Yeah, I'll say this. So, although we're considered the team fighting for the third spot, I don't see it like that at all. We're fighting for first. So, like, it's not just a matter of qualifying, it's a matter of getting the best seed possible. So, when we are going to be on stage, obviously, on my team, we don't really have much line experience aside from Blur mainly. And I only have one game, so I wouldn't really count that too much. But I kind of want to talk some shit. Like, I don't know if I'm allowed to do that. I kind of want to, like, have fun.
Hey, whatever you want to do.
This is what the
I'll
spawn's
do
all
it,
about.
man.
I'm trying to, like, you know, Hippo, if I shit on, like, Veg or something, you know, I'm going to stand up. I'm going to say something. I'm going to have fun with it. So, like, going in loose, not really caring about people's expectations. I don't really, like, give a crap about that at all. Not going to lie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm just focused on our game and, like, having fun with it, going in confident. Whatever happens, happens. I think if we have the right mindset about it, it'll take, like, the result will take care of itself. That's the way I see things. So
Fair. Yeah. Okay, then I'm gonna ask one follow-up to that,
Sure.
which is not exactly like a follow-up per se in terms of the question that I had before, but given everything that you guys had going on in terms of scrims and just preparing for the event as a whole, right? With all things considered,
yeah.
what team would you say out of the remaining three is the one that you're the most scared of? And which team is the one that you're the least scared of being matched up against at any point in the competition?
Good question. I wouldn't use the term scared, but more so the biggest threats. Well, that's I mean, I'm be honest, obviously based off what we've played, we haven't played Devious in a while. Since we last played them, from my understanding, they're the least threat. With all due respect, Scott. Who knows what you guys can come out with? I don't know.
Because I didn't want to answer that, so I'm glad you got it first. But yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah. And then in terms of the quote unquote biggest threat, I'm gonna say it's a toss up because between you guys,
We need a
on LG
definitive
and Tribe,
answer.
Yeah, we need one answer.
Thing is, though,
We let you
depends.
slide when I asked.
Yeah.
And that was
So
okay.
let's
because
just
it was
assume
special team.
we have a BO5, right? Like we have a BO5, right? I'm not even gonna think about a grand finals or anything, but just a
I
BO5.
understand.
right?
And the
Then
thing
what?
is, it's a little bit difficult. I'm gonna answer why. The reason why is your playstyle. So Tribe is more aggressive as a whole. LG is more strategic, and they can be aggressive, can be passive, but it's a little bit different playstyle. So adjusting, we've had in the past more problems with Tribe than LG, but like it really depends. It's hard to say.
Let's say
I'ma
with
say-
the recent scrims, like how results have been.
We've not scrimmed Tribe as much as we've scrimmed LG,
Oh,
so it's not gonna be a biased answer, but I would say probably Tribe is more of a threat at this point.
That's a
Alright.
good answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Scott. I know you're over there. Now it's your turn.
I mean, I think for me it's LG because we're required to play them. Like there may be a certain area where we never end up having to play Tribe. So I think since LG is our first match, I'm going to see them as our biggest threat because in this situation where EU is a little different, there were 2 spots. With 3 spots here, it's win 1 series and you're in. So I think I'm looking at Luminosity. That's not to disrespect Tribe because I mean I struggle playing Tribe a lot. But I think I see Luminosity as the biggest threat for us just because we're playing them first, and since they are so close, as Adam said, I'm just going to go with the team that we are for sure playing, and if we can take them down, then we would end up making that spot, and obviously then we can worry about hopefully making the finals of this tournament as well. But trying to get to stage 5 is our main goal, and Luminosity suits up first. So
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, on stage 4, when you matched up versus LG, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not gonna lie, the series was pretty close, fairly
Yeah.
on like how much
Yeah,
just
it
you guys
was.
are getting. You guys won the control, pretty sure. Pretty soon, like was it control?
yeah, it was
control?
like a
It was a
Y'all had the
control.
hard
You
point.
Yeah.
you only lost the hard point by like 5, I think, right?
Yeah,
It
hard
was
point was
crazy.
really hard
Three
point was
was
really
tough.
close. So
yeah, it
like
was
you guys are
50 to
saying
247, something like that.
So you guys are saying they're the most competitive, but result shows. I mean, you guys got 3-0 by Tribe. Pretty like it was a pretty like one-sided match on that part. But versus LG,
that's
like,
not what he's saying though. He's saying they guaranteed have to.
Oh.
The Luminosity's the biggest threat because they're the one that are guaranteed to have to play. That's what he's saying.
Oh yeah, true. Okay. Because that's what I was like, curious about because I saw their matchup, both their matches.
It was
and
too
I saw,
intricate of an answer.
Okay.
There's too many
We
layers
had to break
to
it
it.
down. We had to break it
Okay.
down for him. Scott.
Yeah, got it.
All right.
But that is like something. Yep.
We obviously also have COD Mobile Esports action happening in other regions. So the one other region that has been getting a little bit of airtime recently has been Garena with their Masters 5 going on right now. And not a ton of crazy things happening this week, but there was one upset, which was Broke Boys Club beating Omega 2-1. So I'm curious, and this is for anybody, not just the guests. If anybody watched that and any thoughts on the upset there, on top of the fact that, once again, Garena only has 2 spots in stage 5 and looking like they now have another legitimate contender for potentially taking one of those.
I'll start first, and I'll just have one comment. It was my favorite Twitter response too. It was just apparent that Omega couldn't handle the BBC. Answer, and I didn't get to watch the series, but I mean, hey, what else can you say about it? They choked, and that's just it.
They choked on the BBC.
I didn't say all that, but
Hey, man, I'm just kind of paraphrasing what you're saying.
Hear me out.
If you must.
I think that was a combination of underestimating your opponents. Also was a factor as well. I feel like they were coming in really like Omega was coming in really like just like, all right, it's another day of one of these like crappy matchups. I guess we'll just like get this done with, and then they kind of.
I don't think it was a crappy matchup. They didn't beat Low Kings, but they played Low Kings pretty well in their series as well. I don't think it was a crappy matchup. Like I think I think there's a lot of people that aren't giving BBC the recognition that they deserve off of that series.
Wait, what does okay? Weird things aside, what does BBC stand for? The org. Like, what is it?
Broke
stand
Boys
for?
Club.
Yeah.
Broke Boys Club.
Gotta
Broke
make
Boys
sure you
Club.
talk about the org.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What do you think
they
it stands for?
they really gotta change the name. They really gotta change that name. Yeah, I saw it was planned, bro. Like that has to be planned or something like that.
Well, duh.
You missed having fun with the name, so come on.
They're 18-year-old gamers. Of course, it was planned.
Damn, what is it? Damn, interesting.
If I could chime in a little bit on this really quickly, is I actually I mentioned this on a previous stream, but I'm very close with the guy who's the head coach for Omega, and so I actually got to speak with him after this whole series. As you know, I saw the result and I was a bit shocked, and so I talked to him. I messaged him. I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" And you know, his response was very simple. He knows that his team, on a technical level, and in terms of strategically and understanding, you know, what needs to be done, is completely set to even win the entire thing, win the entirety of Grandmasters 5, and just make it to stage 5. But mentally, they're just not there. Like there's a lack of mental fortitude that exists within the team, and that's what he thinks is the problem. Whether it be a matter of being able to tone down the overconfidence that was mentioned by Little B, or whether it be, you know, just like overall being able to handle nerves a little bit. There's a mixture of all these, you know, it's kind of for lack of a better way of putting it, an inconsistent and, you know, kind of perfect chaos of, you know, this of emotions and just mental weakness that constantly is like fluctuating within the team, that makes it so that they can't perform as, you know, as they need it sometimes. So my hope for them is that they just, you know, can find a way to be able to navigate that and find a solution to that, or else, you know, that could cause for them to not be able to make, you know, one of those 2 spots that Bobby mentioned. Because yeah, it is only 2 spots, which is unfortunate for Garena, which is such a talented region, but it is what it is. And there's so many good contenders right now, you know, including BBC. You know, there's EZR and down the line. So
And they're just in like group play right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, come on out. Did we not just watch Kings?
I was about to say
drop
it
the
sounds
ball
very
2
similar
times
to
in
that
you?
analysis sounded identical to what we heard about
Yeah,
Zim
just
saying
there we
about
go.
Kings. Yeah.
Perfect. I'm glad we're on the same page there.
Yeah. But at the same time, I think that Omega do have a lot more competition that they have to go through than Kings did. So I think that is probably a little bit more cause for concern than maybe Kings would have had heading into stage 4.
For sure.
Anyone else, or we get to head on?
Let's
I don't
move
know.
on.
I mean, ask
Yeah.
Jesus and Scott. What else did they didn't want to like?
Oh, these guys didn't watch it.
No, not about Green. Not.
My guy Jesus is already getting his OnlyFans page started up, like right now. The content he's got going on.
Oh
And then
my
Scott,
gosh.
man, he's who's your favorite Atlanta Brave player of all time, Scott? I gotta know.
I literally just got this hat today. I'm not a Braves fan. I'm a
You went
Cubs fan,
thrifting.
but
You went thrifting, didn't you?
I did. I literally thrifted this
Okay.
hat probably.
You know what? You're
8
my
hours
favorite
ago.
Atlanta Brave player then.
I don't know if Jesus was going to give anything or no. We're
Wait,
good?
so Little B was asking. if
I
anything
can't
else?
remember the questions.
I was asking
what's
anything
the
else
question?
they want to bring up, you know, beside the Green stuff. Anything they want to bring out, like any like final words before, because next weekend you guys will
Anybody
be
wanna
face
call
to face. Next weekend you guys will be face to face, matching up on stage and talking that crap, playing some good matches.
What's
is
the
the last
chances
opportunity
we'll
to
get
make some calls
we'll get
out.
Adam to wear that on stage for stage 4?
Yeah, I don't
Just
think
the
it's
rule.
gonna happen. Probably a high
They
0.
got a strict
Hey,
dress code policy. I mean,
we
it's
got
Seattle.
we got a
There
custodian.
is a strict dress code policy.
Oh,
Yes.
R.I.P. Do you guys have jerseys? I know that
Yeah.
Jesus does. Scott,
Yeah,
do you
we
guys
do.
have jerseys?
Yo, Scott, I'm
we're
expecting.
You what?
I'm expecting
No, I guess
some.
Little B,
We're
stop
kind of working
talking.
on the jerseys
My
part.
bad.
Yeah, we're working on the jerseys part. We don't have anything official yet. We'll see. I mean, ESL does
White
provide
t-shirts,
jerseys as well. so-
hashtag stay devious.
There we go.
Verdict and I are on the same wavelength right now because I said that
we
exact
go.
same thing in our group chat
Perfect.
yesterday. I was like, get the Sharpie out, get the
It
white
would
t-shirts out.
literally fit the entire like narrative of
That'd
what
be pretty
devious
good.
were.
I'm almost afraid. Like, I don't know if they would see that as disrespectful.
Hey, you
like,
know
we
what?
don't
I
care,
bet
but
you won't put your favorite names on the back. You know, the ones that y'all got banned for, or y'all just fought for in
that's
Mobile
pre me.
Mayhem.
That's
Hey,
pre
man.
me.
That's free Scott. That's free Scott devious. But if you know, you know.
Bobby and Verdict, do you remember last year the Stamina Boys had their custom jerseys? You know, they got something like that. You know, be creative about it. You remember the
They
Stamina
did.
guys last year?
I do
They had their
not.
custom-
I do.
I have no idea.
They had their custom white T-shirts.
Oh,
with, like, all they had
oh,
on.
the stage
Yeah.
4 stamina guys.
Yeah, stage 4 Stamina guys. Yeah,
Oh, okay,
like
okay,
Sean
okay. I
did
got
them,
you. Yeah. I remember. Good times. Good old
Great time.
Texas. All right. Well, I think that wraps up most of the questions that we had. We do have a couple other guests that we're going to get in here on the back half of the podcast, but thank you guys for joining us, and excited to see what you guys can do in Stage 4.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Appreciate it.
No
It's
problem.
a cool experience.
Wish you guys had the best luck, both of you guys.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it, man.
Yep.
All right. Well, we will work on getting our other two guests rotated in here as quickly as we can. A lot of you guys probably saw from the YouTube thumbnail that Tectonic is going to be one of our guests, former world champion, and Space, one of the new players of the current Tribe roster, is going to be joining us as well. Obviously, Little B, you've had a chance to play with both of these guys, so I need you to tell me which of them was your favorite teammate.
Why you gotta put me on the spotlight like that, man?
Dang.
Damn it, dude.
I think it's worth thinking about that.
Yeah, first, damn. Like team wise,
You don't actually have to answer that. I didn't think you were going to answer that. to be
yeah,
honest.
I'm not gonna answer that. I mean, they're both. I'm not gonna answer that. Yo,
They
why
were
is Space
both
sideways?
teammates.
Yo, why
Why
is
sideways, bro?
It's because Scott's thing was sideways, so I had to
Scott.
undo it, and it's all good. We got it fixed. We're good.
he leaked the agenda. Now he's like putting Space sideways. What's going on, Bobby?
I fixed it. I don't know what you want from me.
Look at these sexy players. Look at them. Their names gotta get changed.
Oh, there they go. Now we know who they are. It's Tectonic and Space.
There we go.
All right.
Yo,
Well,
Tech,
since
where's
you
my
guys
idea,
were
bro?
both former
What?
Little B teammates, Space, give me your favorite Little B story.
Dude, it's got to be the freaking raid to zigzag peak. Every single game, every single round. He said that we would beg him, please, Little B, please mix it up, bro. His mix-up is doing it again, and he's like, they're not gonna expect it this time.
It's a 5-hit
It's
play.
just a
That's
constant
little
Trust,
bit
just trust. They're not gonna expect it.
Yeah. The best mix-up is to do it 3 times in a row.
I remember there was one time where Tech told me like, Little B, please don't do it. And then I died there, and he's like, bro, I remember that. Like, yeah.
It's always it's
Yeah.
a free kill, and then gets first blood every time.
Oh, what was the
Lag.
thing? That was the worst part.
Yeah, Little B
Tech,
was
just
the free
FYI, your mic is enabled in OBS Ninja. I
Nice.
think.
Yeah, just go to the link.
Is that good?
Yeah, we're good.
Why does
Okay.
Tech look like a floating head? There's no lighting. It's just him floating.
My lights on my couch are like bugged right now.
You got the Dave face cam set up.
It's
Not
better
bad.
for gaming in the dark.
All right, Tech,
Sure.
All right, we
favorite
wanna hear
Little B
it.
story.
Favorite. Yeah.
Probably the Annie clip. Whenever he just randomly said like, "Yo, I feel like the Annie has more aim assist than anything."
No recoil.
Uh,
He said it has
He said
recoil.
it had more
At
recoil,
that
yeah.
time, that was
Recoil? Oh yeah,
that was when like I was
and
lost
he
in
has
the sauce.
recoil. Like
Hear
what?
me out. I was
He
lost
just
in the
woke
sauce.
up, okay? He just
Hear
woke
me out,
up.
hear me
That's
out,
all
hear
it
me out.
was.
My excuse, I've been
crazy.
saying this, not excuse, it's facts that I said that everybody at that time was using iPhones, and I was one of the first pro players. I thought I was gonna 5 hit everybody. I bought the $2,000 phone, was like ahead of everybody, played the phone, and apparently during that time I was playing on 30 FPS the whole time, which it wasn't optimized at all, and it just ruined me right there. And that's why I was saying is recoil, because it was just like my eyes just weren't used to 30 FPS, but it is what it is, man. I guess it's funny, yeah. So,
Those were the days, huh?
yep.
All right. Well, obviously, both of you guys have some LAN experience under your belt. Haven't been to Stage 5 last year. Tectonic, you being a world champion on LAN and one of the first world champions. So are you feeling like that's going to give you guys a leg up heading into Stage 4 in the next couple weekends?
I don't really think that gives us a leg up. I feel like though, like for a team like Tribe and Luminosity, it's just normal. I feel like the Simplicity guys are, as long as they're chill, they'll be get straight. Same with Devious, because those teams are really like they're good whenever they work together. And the thing about those two teams is they're not like Tribe or Luminosity at all. They have their own way that they play. They're all just set in stone. So as long as they play their game, I don't think anyone's going to struggle on it.
All right. What about you, Space?
What was the question?
Do you feel like the LAN experience that you have is going to give you a leg up?
Maybe a little bit for like the nerves, but or actually yes, I have some like some
You
like notes I
nervous,
took from
Face?
last year regarding like sleep and whatnot. I'll definitely be bringing like some melatonin or something because
Are you
I wasn't able
bringing
to
a
sleep at
gaming
night.
pillow?
No,
No?
absolutely not.
Okay. I
Absolutely
didn't
not.
know if that was a thing.
I am.
Absolutely not.
I mean, how can you sleep when we were like last night, like the night before the tournament? We play like nonstop, getting clapped, cheek booty slammed
we
by
were just-
Q9. We're getting blasted.
Full fatigue. Full
And
fatigue.
Zim
Zim's
was like, next scrim, next scrim.
scrim,
You guys
bro,
have
just-
to win at least
We
one.
lost
And then
250 to 100. Zim's like, all right, next one.
And then
Oh
we
my
like,
I'm just like, Zim, I'm tired.
and the story, we 1-0 and we went to sleep. Yeah. How could you sleep after that? You know what I'm saying? So.
Melatonin gummies, bro. They come in clutch.
All right. I'll
No,
pass the
yeah.
verdict.
Clearly, both of y'all guys are expected to do well and win, and first, second, just based off the pure talent. All that aside, like Tech, I want to ask you, going into stage 4 playoffs, bar is set pretty high. What's the nerves of the team like on a day-to-day basis? Because we're getting there closer and closer, inch by inch. Are you feeling confident, or are you having any doubts? Are there any like areas of the game that you want to focus on before getting there, or is everything like good in paradise right now?
I would not say everything's good in paradise. Every team has their own problems, and ours for sure is hardpoint. So other than that, I think we're confident on everything else. And it's not that we lack confidence in hardpoint. It's more so we just have to fix the issues we have.
Gotcha. Are there any issues that you're like working to progress through on a daily basis, or is it something that like you're gonna have to focus on when you get in, in person? Like, hey, this is what we got to do. We got to change it up here. We can pinpoint things.
I don't think there's gonna be much that we really change. We just have we're probably the worst rotation team and ops team. I'll be honest, because we just get
Okay,
op chained
that's
so
fair.
much.
Last question. Will you bring out the duel akimbos if y'all win stage 4 this year?
No.
Space.
Oh my God.
Same question. Like you guys, I'm not saying yours too, because anything can happen, and we've seen anything. And then this is a LAN event too, man. You take everything that you've been working on, and you remember stage 5 last year, how completely different it is when you're in person. Like, are the strategies changing day by day? Are they adapting, or are we going out through the motion at this point? Because y'all's team has looked by far the best that we've ever seen this particular tribe team look all year long.
If you want me to be brutally honest, I think it's mostly just kind of adapting to the new device. We actually were
Got it.
lucky enough to get this device pretty early, and so we've all been switched to it for about a week and a half now, 2 weeks coming up. And that's like my biggest thing is like if you're not like fully adapted to a new device, like you can know in your head exactly what you want to do, but if your fingers and your brain just aren't cooperating, you'll maybe lack confidence, you'll maybe make bad decisions. Your on the fly thinking is just very, very like low. So that's probably one of the biggest things, and I'm pretty grateful for that. But as for the rest of the team, just on how they're talking, everyone seems like they're already there. Like we just are already ready for LAN. We're ready to be there and to play. Everyone's pretty excited for it, and there's just kind of no upsets going into it.
Awesome. Last question, follow up. I'll follow back up with Tech too. Who's gonna be your roommate in Seattle?
Bolu.
Oh, okay. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, I just haven't heard from him in a couple days, but yeah.
All right. We gotta break that ice. We're gonna need some pictures whenever I get there. Tech, who are you bunking with this stage 4?
Vague once again.
Hey, once again. Oh, so you
I
already know
just
what's going
can't
on.
even imagine that duo in a hotel room together.
Honestly, like the thing about Vague is he's like a super clean freak. And that's
Ah.
one thing I like about Vague, because it's like I never have to worry about the room getting dirty or anything. And a lot of the times he'll sleep at someone else's room, so it's like even better.
Oh my God. Well, you could probably just shove them into a drawer too. So that's also a plus.
All right, Little B, your turn.
All right, so I feel like everybody wants this question. What is the main difference between both of you guys? Like, obviously, you guys are completely, from the outside perspective, you guys are completely different built teams. Like, I know people, Scott was talking about Tribe was more aggressive, and LG's more like strategic. can't even speak English, like more tactical. But what's the main difference between Tribe and LG?
I feel like it's personally just pacing.
Facing?
I don't know if Space agrees, but the playstyle of LG is a lot slower than Tribes, and that's one of the things that we struggle with because every other team usually has 2 solid ARs where they just try to slow it down. So LG's kind of developed that playstyle, but with Tribe, they kind of have Forsaken on his flex where he's like the aggressive AR, and it kind of messes up the pacing of everyone. So Forsaken, without a doubt, is like very key factor for that Tribe team, in my opinion.
All right, what about you, Skip?
Yeah, I definitely would say it's like pacing. We usually are comfortable when we kind of like set the pace of the game. We'll kind of like play to ourselves on our own pace and make other teams play our game.
All right, that was actually a really good question.
Yeah.
Bobby, what are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on their answers on the question?
On the question, yeah, like what do you think the difference is between these two teams? Tech gave a good, valid answer. Space actually gave a real thoughtful answer as well.
I mean, I would agree with that for the most part. I think a lot of it is there's more. I think for Tribe, they almost had an opportunity to just build something from scratch because you have all these different players coming from different backgrounds. And I think to a certain extent, that almost worked in their favor because they didn't have any bad habits that they were bringing into it. And I think that allowed that, like, I think especially when it comes to Hardpoint, they could build from scratch coming into the first season that we've ever had where you have like designated roles as well. And so you can build that roster how you want to. You have Forsaken in that flex spot. And I think that's a reason they've been especially dominant when it comes to Hardpoint. So obviously you attributed that to the players on the roster as well, but I think having a new start for that definitely helped them in that capacity as well.
Okay. Another question. As Tech said, you know how like their main problem is like fast-paced players like Forsaken, you know, ruining the rhythm of a team. Space. What about you guys? Like, what player in like LG is like their kryptonite? You know, or like you don't have to answer the question, but like, what was like the main threat for you guys? You know, key player.
Speaking for me personally, one thing that stresses me out so bad is playing against Band in S&D because he is just a coin toss, and if he makes a decision to do it, he's gonna do it full confidence. And like just playing against that guy stresses me out in S&D because sometimes he'll just push something that you'd never expect. He'll do it so confidently, and he'll just like win you in that fight.
Okay.
That's how it was all last year.
Yes, so stressful.
Last question from my side. What the frick happened in stage 4 versus you guys? Tech? What happened to LG? What happened on that 4th hard point? I looked away and I saw 190 to like 20. What happened? You know, you were there. You know what happened. What happened?
I'm gonna be honest. Like we're usually pretty solid at takeoff. It's not our best map, but it's definitely not our worst. I feel like once they got to like 100 points, we were all just like flabbergasted. Like we were just laughing our asses off. Like man, this is really happening. And then it just got worse and worse. And then we kind of just laughed it off, and we went into game 5 like, you know, they have to beat us on the S&D. You know, we have to beat them on a hard point, but they got to beat us on S&D. We took the control. So it's like none of us were in like a bad vibe. We understood like, hey, it happened. We can't dwell on it. We can't go back in time and change it. Which is something that a lot of like the newer players don't understand. Like they'll probably lose that bad and be like, "Oh my god, what the f, guys?" You know, like, and then it's just like downhill from that. You know, you can't let stuff like that affect you. That's what's really good about LG is like they're very energetic. Like these guys that I'm around, they're completely different from the Tribe roster last year, vibe wise. So even if they have a bad game or whatever, it's not like it affects them too much. So mentally strong, I would say LG.
Okay, I saw that, and then coming into the map 5, Tribe was up 3-0, and then what happened, Space? You guys were up 3-0, you had full momentum. You told me earlier, they came in with the stun play, spam stun, infinite concussions, and y'all got blasted off the map, instant 0-7 after that. What happened?
Yeah, I think I got first blooded by a grenade at least 2-3 times a game, and that's just that sucks, dude. I was like, okay, like throw an extra trophy for me. Throw an extra trophy. There 4 flashes come in, 2 more grenades, and then even though the grenade doesn't kill me, just slid by 3 people. It takes sight, and then retake is pretty hard, especially if you have 2 snipers.
Okay. All right, I mean, Hippo, to you. I don't know what you have for questions, but I'm done with that.
Jeez, I don't know. Do I really have questions when I have my own player right here?
Absolutely.
No,
These
yeah,
are the
ask
best
away.
times.
Ask away.
Nah, but I do think I mean I have very different questions for the two of you. I mean for Tech, I guess the question kind of would be, you know, coming into this, you know, at this point you've been with us, you know, you've been with me and the boys, with Clout and everybody, you know, up to until this point. Do you have any regrets of being on this team after all that happened? If you want to bring up the
What
250,
what
if
a
you wanna
question
bring
for your own player.
Oh my god!
Right before
I'm
the
gonna
big
hit the DM with that one first.
I don't.
Go
I
ahead,
don't feel
Tag,
like I have any regrets.
um,
The only thing I want to fix is like hardpoint.
Yeah.
Other than that, there's zero regrets.
He's brought up hardpoint 4 or 5 times already. I feel like the hardpoint
'Cause
needs to be the focus.
that's the only issue. I feel like a control raid, we just ban it, just get it out the way. That's probably the grace period. I don't know what it is, but I raid so bad. But with the newer spawns, it's actually a little bit easier for us. The guys don't get spawn trapped as much.
Sure.
So I feel like overall, if we fix the hard point, it'd probably be a lot better.
For sure. I mean, that's something that we're constantly talking about on the daily, and you know, trying to figure things out, along with the other nuances, you know, of our gameplay that we're nitpicking at. But yeah, with space, bro, I feel like this is the first time we actually really got to talk. Now that I think about it, like outside
Yeah,
of
it
like
is.
you know messaging for like
Yeah.
scrims. But yeah, I guess the question that I would have for you, and this is kind of more of a question, I guess, about the team as a whole, but what do you feel like is whenever you guys, and you can feel free to just decline to answer this, right? What do you guys feel like are the necessary steps that are taken for you guys, whether it be mentally or whether it be in terms of just like how you guys think about the game or whatever it is, to make it so that you try to set up this like pacing, right? Because as you yourself answered, and also as you and Tech has answered, right? Y'all's pacing as a team is arguably more aggressive and faster than probably every other team in NA at the moment. And so what do you guys kind of just like think about, or like in terms of like, oh, like is it just a play-by-play thing in terms of like, oh, based for the maps, like there's a specific push, or is it just like mentally you guys are just thinking, okay, like let's just go in there, you know, and do our thing? Like is there kind of like something like that happens there, or is it just like a more like specific thing there that happens, you know?
He's got
Well, I mean, something that a lot of people don't realize is that I've played on teams in the past with, I mean, not really solo. Solo's probably the only one that I haven't, but I've played in the past with Forsaken. I've played in the past with Jez. I've played on teams with Rabalo. You know what I mean? So I've played on a team with everyone on my team before, and so we like have a fair share of like knowledge of each other and how we play. So we kind of had that advantage from the beginning. And then as for like finding success, I would like to think of us as like a generational AI. It's not really that we do stuff and take steps. It's that we find success and then we go down that hole of success through repetitions. And then the more games we play, we like just dive into those like successful routes and paths. And like it just goes from there. So it's just definitely repetitions, and a lot of it is unsaid. And then we kind of solidify it with a little bit of VOD, and that's about it.
Gotcha.
All right, Space, I did want to ask, obviously, I think coming into Stage 4 especially, I think there was, obviously there's a lot of recognition for the tribe name, and that comes with, like, certain expectations. And then adding, obviously you weren't, like, a last-second addition, but you, Rabalo, and Forsaken were all, like, semi last second, in that you guys hadn't really been playing together for as long as a lot of the LG guys had. And a lot of it was not necessarily like roster mania based, but just a lot of last second changes. And I think also a lot of uncertainty about who is going to be starting come Stage 4. Do you feel like, I think especially those three, you, Rabalo, and Forsaken, do the three of you have a chip on your shoulder going into Stage 4, or do you feel like you've already proven yourselves and are just kind of going into it level-headed?
I would definitely say it's more of like a level-headed thing. It's not that we ever felt any kind of like pressure from the outside as a team. So we're just kind of going in and doing our thing as like we need to.
All right. I was just curious about that. We did also have some questions from chat. So one person wanted to ask Tech. Obviously, you've not been a main sniper for a while. It's not that you've ever been a bad sniper, because I can think of Mobile Mayhem matches where you went like 19-0 with a sniper in respawn or something. So obviously you have plenty of experience, but people are wondering why it was so easy for you to make that switch over to a sniper main position for Search and Destroy.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's an easy switch. I wanted to try it last year in Tribe, but some people didn't really like the idea, which was cool. You know, I understand my role. But a lot of teams do have like 2 solid snipers with, you know, Tribe having like 3 space just for taking any given day, depending on who gets the role. It could be a toss up. But it's like always someone to control the pacing a lot more. Like Wachi's so good at quick scoping, he's probably one of the best snipers out there. Me, I'm just gonna hard scope for most of the time there, and it's I play on a really slow sensitivity, so it kind of just works out in the long range since I use AR already. So I wouldn't say the switch was really too hard. It was just kind of adjusting to sensitivity bit by bit.
All right. 3 of you have any more questions? I have some others that we'll take from chat, but I figure I'll let you guys get a word in first.
While you're racking those out, on a less serious note, Space, have they asked you to like model the Tribe jersey yet for their website? Because
No, none of
that
that.
wasn't a part of the contract.
No, I mean maybe
Oh, they're
eventually,
totally
but
missing out,
nothing
bro.
right now.
Totally missing out.
But like besides all like the NA stuff, like what do you guys think about like the other regions? Like, you know, like looking at all the other stage 4s, like what do you guys like, anything you guys want to like bring out or say? Like for example, like the 07 curse on like all the top number 1 C teams losing, getting eliminated. Anything? Any comments on that?
I'm definitely interested in what China's got going on, because it seems like every time I look over there, like Q9 has an entirely different roster. Wolves has Island now. Like it's just in and out with players. There's a lot of new players that just became of age as well. So I'm very interested to see how that goes. And I think they have some tournaments coming up as well, so that we'll get to see that.
I mean, I don't believe in this 7-0 crap. I'll be honest.
Yeah. I don't even like pay mind to that. I don't even know what you were talking about.
No, so basically in LATAM, Skade was 7-0 like through stage 4. They went into their finals and they didn't make it to stage 5. Same thing with Animus, right?
Okay, so first seed team in
First seed teams have
round
not
robin.
made it to Worlds.
Okay, I got it.
And so that's basically what everyone's looking to LG for, because it's like, oh, LG 7-0, maybe they messed up. I don't believe in that crap, man. Like, let's be honest. Like the teams that are there deserve to be there, and I wish DICE was there. I feel like they deserve it as well. But it's like, man, you have to be prepared.
Yes,
It just sucks that some players did what they did. But I mean, you play, the better team wins. That's just the way it is. That's how the game is.
Bro, I'm more scared of the Bobby curse than I am the 7-0.
I knew somebody was gonna see that in chat.
T-Bag asked, I know, I mean, I could answer for you guys, but any like pre-game rituals? I mean, I listen to music. I know some of you guys listen to music, but Space and Tech, do you guys have any pre-game rituals you guys do for your match?
I drink 2 Red Bulls. That's
Oh
usually
my
it.
I'll down an energy drink. That's about it. Other than
Yeah,
that,
no,
not
really.
really.
Rules when you have
No,
that little sense.
no.
How the hell
This
does that
guy-
work?
This guy's Space, I swear. I mean, Tech also has experienced the Sylvia breakfast burritos, but we don't be eating it. So like, just drink empty
Oh,
Those
yeah.
breakfast burritos are good. Why don't you eat them?
They did, yeah.
Nah, you
they
weren't
hit,
there,
bro.
Bobby.
I was
weren't
there.
there.
I was there stage
You
4.
were.
No, not for the
Me and
Wait,
Tech,
last
not
year
for
or
the
year before?
official ones.
Last
Tech
year.
2021 year and 2022. You know, 2021 was also, I think it's all back in the in stage 5. Remember that Tech, the breakfast
Oh,
burritos?
they were like rubber.
Oh my
I
god.
was like, wow. But apparently they were like fresh made burritos. So I was like,
I
okay,
feel
cool.
bad because I'm
No.
very thankful whenever
Yeah.
Sylvia gets us food.
Yeah.
bro.
No, yeah, it's like awesome. She's
I'm
thinking
very,
about
very
us.
thankful,
But
and I feel so bad for like saying stuff like this, because she'll be like, "Fine, I'll just never get your stuff again."
Yeah, Little B's never getting
Yeah.
anything from Sylvia
Yeah,
ever
literally,
again.
you're done, bro. You're
Yeah,
cut.
he just messed up.
bro, I'm just saying that y'all be drinking energy drinks on empty stuff.
Uh,
Every day, every single day.
No, I mean it's bad. Like I drink about 2 Red Bulls every day. So it's kind of
Jesus.
just like clockwork. Yeah, but whenever it comes to competitions, I'll probably drink like 3 or 4.
All right.
I am
So
curious, based on the comment about Dice, if we had seen the head-to-head matchup between Dice and Devious, who do you think would have won?
Ooh, I mean, honestly, I felt like that game would have been really good no matter what, because I think it really just depended up on like maps.
100%.
Because like S&Ds, like both of those teams are so good at S&Ds, and it's kind of annoying. I feel like Patrol Raid versus them two would have been like phenomenal. I felt like that would have went to round 5. So depending on, like as I said, just who has the better day, really. But I feel like Dice probably could have pulled through. No disrespect to Devious, they're great dudes. Rehan's a new rookie, super talented. Same with the rest of them. They just work really well. Like you don't think of them players whenever you think of top players. Well, that's a top team at the end of the day.
Right. Space.
What was the question?
Between if we had seen Dice versus Devious, who wins?
In the head-to-head, I'd probably give it to Dice. They were doing pretty well, and I mean, we did get to play them in their one and only scrim before then, and they didn't do too bad. We played a hard point. It was like 170, 250, and they seemed like they were playing pretty well. And then the next game, someone's phone died and downhill spiral.
Burning, bro. Why do you have to bring
I feel
up
like if Dice had the possibility to keep what's his name, Yon, I feel like they would have qualified.
Yeah,
100%.
Burning, bro. Why do you have to bring up the coleslaw sandwich? Dude?
No, those
Yeah, I was thinking about that
chicken
too.
sandwiches. I didn't bring them up. I just saw it in chat, and I just wanted everybody to know they were disgusting.
Out of context,
The coleslaw chicken patty, bro.
out of context,
It was just frozen. It was ice
They were
cold.
trying to kill us.
way.
out of context on a Dallas Mayhem event. There was food served, lunch was served there, and I'm pretty sure most people ate the coleslaw sandwich because it was like the best option, and everybody got sick the day after that.
Yeah.
Right before the tournament. Right before the tournament.
That was Sylvia's biological
They sabotaged.
warfare. She told her
No,
players, "Don't
Sylvia
eat
said
this,"
that
and
she
then
didn't
fed it to
order 'em.
everyone.
That's
She
what
did
she
it. She did it. It was the
It was a
catering
third party.
company
It was a-
that yeah. But she did try to. Yeah.
Oh my
I
God.
give what you're saying now.
Jesus, dude.
She almost took out a whole like esport
The whole
arena.
community, the whole competitive scene.
We almost didn't make it back from Dallas. It was that or the damn buffet that you guys took us to after making third place.
Oh yeah, China
Oh, no,
Palace.
after making it to the playoffs. I don't know
Oh, yeah,
whichever
we-
one it was.
Zim was like, "We need Chinese buffet,"
Zim,
God, that
Zim
Chinese
is like
buffet was
the
awful.
weirdest
and
to
it was
eat
just
with.
terrible.
Good God.
Zim goes to a 5-star sushi place to get grilled chicken sushi. So like this
No,
hands
he got
down, you
chicken
can't-
wrapped in rice. Like
Yeah.
grilled chicken
We
wrapped
went
in
to,
rice
we
at
went
a
to a
sushi
very
joint.
like traditional, expensive sushi
Good
place,
God.
and Zim ordered chicken teriyaki sushi. I didn't even know
Bro.
that existed, and he
Dude.
loved it, bro. He'll still defend it like to this day. He'll be like, "It was
I
good."
believe, yeah.
We went to a Korean barbecue place for his birthday while we were going to go watch like the COD World Champs. And
Oh yeah, dude.
literally it's like I think we spent like $250-$300 on it. This guy Zim
Dude.
for his birthday ate rice, plain rice, and he was like, "Yo, can I get like the chicken fried rice, but just the chicken?" And it was just chicken and rice.
It's called
You
the
know-
bibimba. It's called the bibimba, and like he had like half vegetables. He didn't even eat it. Like he just ate like the
No,
rice
he just ate the rice and
and
chicken.
the vegetables
You
and
know,
all.
it's his birthday, so I won't say too much. But as a Korean, I feel disrespected.
Yeah, he ate a
Okay, wait.
bibimba for the rice.
Have any of y'all been to PF Chang's?
It's
Oh
So on
my
the same
God.
topic, we lost Zim in the mall, and we like called him. Turns out he like got himself a table in PF Chang's. So we go and sit in there with him, and like the server comes up, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't really like anything on the menu. Can I just get a grilled chicken breast and some plain white rice?" And the server just kind of looked at him all weird, and like he was so serious. And I was,
The
I
worst
was
thing.
dying laughing.
The
next
worst
to him.
thing. The worst
I had
thing
to
is
put my head
that.
down.
The worst thing is that we ate Canes before that. We ate like a whole chicken, and this
Oh
guy,
my
you know how
God.
at Canes you get the chicken tenders, but this guy gets the sandwich which comes with only 2 instead of 3, and he didn't even eat the buns. He just ate the chicken tenders inside.
Yeah,
the
yeah. He
sandwich.
just
off
took
the
the he took the
buns
tenders
and
off the
just
sandwich.
ate the tenders, and we're like, bro, just get a
Just order
3-piece.
tenders.
And he's
Yeah,
like, but
bro.
I just want the tenders. It's like,
That's
come
crazy.
on, bro.
You ordered this. There's only
killing it,
4
man.
things on the menu, bro. How'd you get confused?
It's a Zim
Yes.
roasting fee, bro.
Yeah, I feel
No,
bad for Zim
every
right
time
now.
you get these guys, if you've ever been coached by Zim, it always comes back to this.
Yeah.
Because there's
Oh
always those
my
memories.
God.
Yeah. Don't
They
feel
never
bad. He
leave
loves
you.
some rice and chicken. Don't
All
feel
right.
bad.
I did have one more semi-serious question. So, one person in chat was asking
in the chat?
about Jez specifically, saying he didn't have the best stage 4. If I'm not mistaken, Jez lives in Hawaii, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, are we expecting like a big time Jez upgrade whenever it comes to LAN?
Yeah, I'd anticipate it. We saw what he did at stage 5, you know?
I don't
Alright.
even
Man.
feel like Jez did that bad at stage 4, personally.
I didn't
And he
either,
didn't.
but
He really didn't.
yeah. So,
Well,
so-
he didn't
I
do
mean, he
much
just
to
has,
talk
like,
about,
he has
so
the
that's
freaking,
kind of
uh,
underperforming for him.
Mhm.
They're looking at him as a world champion.
Yeah,
And so whenever you
exactly.
see him going negative by 1 kill, it's kind of like, what? So
Yeah, no, I still get roasted all the time because against Wolves. It's like versus
Oh,
the
yeah.
Summit game, it was like I was lagging at the point, and I was just like, look, I'm gonna throw my body I'm like, my
Yeah.
shots weren't registering at the time, and admins didn't really want to do like a technical balls or anything, so I was like, look, they're not gonna pause the game. I'm gonna throw my life towards the hill. Whatever y'all gotta do, just focus on getting the trades. So I went like 20 and 40, and I still get flamed to this day because everyone's like, oh, Tech's one of the best R's, Tech's one of the best players, yada yada. Like, that doesn't really, like, none of this really affects me, but it's just like, man,
Yeah, that's what
Like,
people don't
damn.
understand. People don't understand. People just think like stats equals like win. Like players like Tech, like what he's saying, like those are the players or those are the teammates that you want to have. Depending on the situation, being able to adjust and not caring about the stats and going for the win. Because that's at the end of the day, that's all that matters. You know what I'm saying? I'm over here dropping 50 kills, losing. It doesn't really matter. If you're going quadruple negative and doing your role and getting the win, that's all what matters at the end of the day.
There's a
Nobody's gonna
huge
talk-
difference between playing for stats and playing for the win.
Yeah.
Like that's why people say there's a difference between playing for like someone who plays for kills compared to who actually plays, for the win. But that said, Tech, no wonder you get traumatized about Summit. I've not heard a single day where Tech, if we go into Summit
No.
if we try to go Summit
Dude.
first game, he's like, I gotta kill.
it's not even that I'm traumatized by Summit. It's just like the map is so stupid. Like the spawns, it doesn't make sense.
Spawns
I
are
spawn
terrible. It's
CDOM,
true.
and they spawn CDOM, and then I have to worry about
That's
my
true.
ass because it's like, dude, like you shouldn't be there. Logically,
Yeah, it wouldn't
It's
be
like-
so bad if you just weren't so slow with an AR. Like you're running so slow, like as soon as they catch you, like you have to take the fight, and then your ADS
Yeah.
time is 3 times slower than theirs. It just sucks.
Yeah.
everyone's running with like their gloves and like like Skulker with CBR or Switchblade and stuff. It's like I
Yeah,
have this
punch
bulky
shit out
AR
there.
with overclock, and I usually have the heaviest builds known to man. So it's like I definitely have no advantage. So Summit close range, shitty spawns. It's like, yeah, fuck that map. I would rather stand off. I don't know why Summit was second in the map pool.
I love Summit, but maybe it's
I
just-
hate it.
All right, there's one guy in chat keeps asking the same question. Top 5 rookies going into stage 4. I don't even know if there are 5 rookies. I'm trying to think about it, but
Number one's Forsaken.
obviously number one's got to be Forsaken. Like
Forsaken,
no
yeah.
question.
I'd say Rihan after.
Rihan's not a rookie.
Yeah.
Take.
Rihan played
Rihan's
last
He
year.
been a rookie.
literally
Rihan
played
played
for
last
Team
year?
He didn't
Team
play stage
Mobility
5.
last year.
Do you hear that, Rihan? He doesn't know
Wait.
you, little bro.
Whoa.
played for
Team
whoa.
Mobility.
I think
Is
he's considered
Rihan really
cartel.
that old?
He
Yeah,
played for
yeah,
Team
yeah.
Mobility. He was like the
Yeah,
best
yeah,
player on
yeah.
Mobility.
It's gotta be Scott, right? Scott didn't play last year, stage 4, right? Did he?
Cartels?
Cartels, yeah, that's one of
Cartels.
those.
Yeah,
God,
Cartels,
Raph,
Cartels,
God,
Kings,
Raph.
Raph.
Oh, Kings, yeah.
Yeah, Kings
Yeah.
definitely.
If Teabag
Uh,
qualified, I would have said
so-
Teabag and Hacks.
Teabag was my
So
like
Forsaken?
shoe-in, like
Yeah.
Forsaken, Kings, Cartels, Raph.
Hold on. Can we do
who'd be
qualifiers
the
as
fifth?
well?
Who'd be the fifth?
Can we do qualifiers as well?
Yeah, go for qualifier, sure.
Okay. I'd say Forsaken, Teabag, Hacks, Kings and Cartels.
Good.
Yeah,
That would be my 5.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I would remove cartels and add Teabag. Oh, you said Teabag, didn't you?
I said Teabag. Teabag was second.
Okay, my bad.
Come on, bro.
Just wanted to make sure you said Teabag.
Tech,
I said
I'm
Teabag.
curious as one of the I would say the greatest AR in COD Mobile history. Your analysis on Aerith's transition to AR in stage 4?
She played. I feel like she played it well, but she played the pacing wrong. Like, I don't think she was a bad AR, but what the thing she was doing wasn't really helping worth a damn.
Yep.
Like, she would get the kills, but it's like you're getting the kills in the spots that, you know, that they don't really do much. Like, if she's challenging me and she's beating me off the anchors, then it's like, yeah, you know, you're helping out your team more than you think. But if, you know, you're just playing cutoffs and weird ass angles, like, what is it, P3, and you're going tunnel just to, like, while your teammates are spawning at the temple, it's like, yeah, that don't make a little bit of too much sense.
All right. Do you think
think
it's
she's a
tougher
bad
to transition
AR
from AR to SMG or vice versa?
I feel like it's harder for subs, or no, I feel like it's harder for like a slow pace AR to transfer to subs. But like someone like Forsaken, for example, I feel like they could just do it naturally. I've picked up the subs a couple of times just to prove to the guys, hey, you can just sit on the hill and look pretty. Hippo knows it because we've kind of gotten into debates, and it's like, you know, I could get 3 minutes, but I'll be like double negative because this isn't my role, so I'd have to practice it. But it's like, it's possible for even someone that's shit at the role.
Yeah, T-Bag said the only reason we put her on the AR is because she was doing the same thing as the sub. I'm pretty sure she was a CBR man before coming in, so
Yep.
Yeah.
that's coming from her teammate.
And she was doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean, giving her like literally like 1 or 2 weeks coming in out of nowhere. Like she's played like, what is it, like 2 million ranked matches? You know, she's already used to that, so it's her natural thing.
I feel like
Yeah,
it's
is
like
that
the
a
extra
diss?
for
No
dice
life?
in S&D.
Holy hell.
Was that a diss a little bit?
It's not this. It's just a fact. I'm just saying, like if I was to play 2,000 ranked games, I haven't played competitive for 2 years, and I'm already used to playing like that play style. 2 weeks is just not enough time to be able to adjust myself, unless I'm gonna go triple negative and embarrass myself. You know, that's just, you know,
that comes back to like being a top player and stuff. You can't get embarrassed by that shit. You know, if you want to
Yeah,
win, you got to
yeah.
do what you got to do.
Yeah, exactly.
There you
But
go.
you know, she hasn't played 2 years of comp, so things have changed. You know, different now. But
I don't know if this is like just me being crazy, but I feel like Aerith carried the fuck out of them through the S&Ds.
Oh, 100%.
no, yeah, for
Like,
sure.
I
they
feel like a
just-
lot of the S&Ds, they don't win without Aerith.
Because who else on their team would snipe? There's no sniper presence in their team. They just don't have one. You know, they had Space was playing for them.
And they did all right without sniping though. That's
Yeah, but in the
amazing.
long run, yeah, that
But
could
when
win.
Aerith
That could
stepped
win.
on the team, she
Their
completely
S&D
dominated
improved a lot.
tremendously.
Aerith.
Yeah.
But then it's like their hard point kind of just, it became wrong.
All right. But
Any other questions from the co-hosts?
Hippo, you want to say something? I feel like you have a lot of things to say. If you're just there, I see you.
He's trying to get all the strats out of space.
Yeah.
already, man.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
was
Like,
like,
writing-
space,
writing notes
but-
right now.
He's cooking up in the lab over there.
Yeah.
No,
dude. Hey.
Tech knows. I mean, we talk all the time. So Tech and I talk all the time. So there's nothing between us. Honestly, I don't hide anything from any of my players about how I feel about things. So
I'm talking about you. I'm talking about you in space. You know, I know you got some juicy
Space-
questions to ask space.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like I don't want to trespass any boundaries. You know, I want to respect the fact, and that's kind of where it's at. I mean, of course, I have a lot of things I'd like to know, but I'm not going to ask that. It's just, I think it's a,
Next question, Space. What is your UL build?
Hippo, you could DM me. I'll happily ask Space all the questions.
It's all right. It's all right.
But yeah, I mean, hey, you know, we're gonna see
Hey,
some juicy trash
Nah,
talk
fuck that.
action.
I got a question
Yeah.
for Space. How did it feel beating our ass that bad?
Dude, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
we got
we
to like
never did ask all that.
P3. We got to like P3, and like we were just playing our game, right? We got to P3, and I looked up at the scoreboard. I saw it was like 150-7, and I just told myself, I was like, all right, don't look up again. Like, because once you like start looking, and you kind of
Put
get
him
that
down.
lead.
Let's just roll
it's
with it.
just like, I was just like, all right, don't look at the score again, and we just kept playing.
Yeah,
We
that was
just kinda-
smart. Tech.
We really just played our game from there. It wasn't like a full like anticipation thing.
Yeah.
Obviously it felt good, but it wasn't like too overly hyped after the fact
Nah,
because
I've came
obviously
to
the series wasn't done.
conclusion that Envy, Band, and Washi are just like a curse because it happened to them on the firing range, and then me and Vader come over and happened to us on the takeoff. So whoever got them
Oh,
3
God.
next year, just be
Oh,
prepared.
so
Just
Tech
be prepared.
confirms he will not be teaming with those 3 next year.
Oh,
All right.
Whoa,
Intel is out.
Oh.
Tech, did you see Space's video?
Leak.
It was so bad that Space had to cut out the exciting
Yeah,
part.
yeah. At the
Wait,
end of
what?
the video, you just hear like the audio cut out like 6 times when the
No,
game ended.
no. The game ended. Space cut the celebration part because just the cut, So that's how bad it was.
Oh, wait for the takeoff.
Yeah,
takeoff,
yeah.
Yep.
Wait,
It
did
was-
you
it
have the
was just because
celebration
of-
on a Tunisia?
Oh no, yeah. I got that. That one's in the pocket. You know. What I'm saying?
That's not good for the YouTube algorithm. Come on
Yeah,
now.
that one was more of like a head scratch. I was
like.
like, well,
No,
Ah,
the
but,
part was good.
We're gonna see some juicy trash talk, I know you guys are gonna be for sure playing games on stage. We're gonna see some banter, trash talk. We love to see those. Get into people's head. I love Tech. I know Tech loves doing that.
Oh no, I try to just be like, whenever it comes to like stages, it's like you want to keep your team hype and just focus as much as possible. Because I
Yeah.
remember last year with Vague in particular, everyone was kind of lagging at one point. And the thing about like Vague just really didn't really care too much, but Vague in particular, everyone knows his attitude and shit.
Yeah.
So Vague gets frustrated very easily sometimes, and then it's like you have to just like check him. And it's like, what was it? We were in the finals versus LG. And he's like, man, dude, none of my fucking shots are registered. I don't know what the fuck to do. And I'm like, dude, chill the fuck out, because we're already up in the 3-1 lead. And then he started lagging or whatever. And I tried to tell him, it's like, look, just go on to the next game. It's not like we have to win 2 more and they have to win 1 more. We're not in the deficit at all. So I feel like having, that a little bit of experience and being able to keep everyone's head on straight is like really good for anyone that's played on the stages. So someone like Space, I know he's probably a really good mental check for his team. I feel like for Simplicity, it'd probably be like Raph or Jesus. Those 2 are always kind of just focused on what they have to do and where they have to go. Probably more so Jesus than anything. And then like Scott, I feel like today's Spawn is kind of all your mature and level-headed players that you see on every team.
All right. Fair enough. I know this is like a little bit more of a touchy subject just because of like the relationship between phone sponsors and COD Mobile Esports and everything, but there's one guy in chat that keeps asking you guys thoughts on the phones that you're going to be playing on, so I didn't know if you had any feedback, if you prefer to plead the 5th, or...
Let's put it in comparison, like out of the Xperia and then the
I'd rather do
Rock.
Xperia.
Yeah,
Okay,
Xperia and Rock.
I'm not gonna
wow.
rank it. I'm not gonna rank them, but I will
All
definitely
right, good
say
to know.
that this is the biggest change of like comfortability in a phone, like switching. It's the biggest change I've ever gone through, and I've switched from like 5-6 different phones. I've gone all of them, every single phone. I've gone through all of them, and this is definitely the biggest change of pace.
Yeah, no, this one is definitely the hardest. I feel like a lot of the players like Simplicity and Devious, if it will be a little bit harder for them if they can't get the phones. That's one, as Space said earlier, it's a huge advantage having or being able to have that where org or whatever supports you and they get what you need. Because I'm, oh man, is ESL watching this? If ESL's watching, I ain't gonna say that, but I know they I know they are trying their best.
Mobile, like podcast.
Okay,
so-
but what's the
The one thing I
Yeah.
respect about ESL is that they are trying their best to make it work for the players. Like they're actually, keeping us up to date and trying to fix any problems that we have on our end. So it's not like they're just like, oh, have a good time. Like they're actually working with us, and I respect them a lot for that.
They
Oh, yeah, they
communicate
definitely
actually
are.
really, really well. Not just
Yeah.
only about like the phones, but like any concerns that we have, whether it be about like the actual rule set or any other like potential problems that we, or like things that kind of bother us, I guess. Like they're actually really, really willing to accept feedback and like be responsive about it, which I think is like really great.
Okay, yeah. What's like what's like the main issue, or like what's like the main like jump with the devices? Is it like the ghost touch delay? What about the phone? Like the size? What about the phone is like the main issue for it?
All right, I'm not going on record for saying anything, but someone in Trovo chat, one message up, just said it.
The touch sampling rate only 240 hertz compared to 920 hertz gaming phone. All right, there we go. There we go. Right up
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked to the ESL people about this a couple times. Me and Space has even talked about it in our DMs. We're both like heavy AR players, so all of our abilities come from holding down lanes, tracking anyone that comes in our crosshair, and it's like it's very difficult to try and do that. It's like the phone doesn't really work too well if you try to press 4 buttons at the same time in the corner. It's just not meant for that. And then on top of that, what is it? Like the esports client isn't necessarily a game, so you can't use the game launcher with it. So that makes it a little bit harder as well.
Yeah, so on this device, to use like game launcher features and to use the device without like throttled performance, you'd have to only use an app that's verified, and that means like through the Play Store. And so any app that's downloaded outside of the Play Store won't have any of these features, meaning performance will be throttled. And I know ESL is working really hard to try and fix that before the event. And although it's not like a huge deal, the game is still very playable without that. That'll definitely be like a bonus.
Like the phone is smooth, but I truly, that's the only problem for me. It's like just the tracking, like, and then like it stops shooting sometimes. If that didn't happen, man, like I'd play on the Samsung. You know, I don't think it's unplayable. It's actually really smooth on esports, but they optimize it that way. So
Yeah, I mean it was a little iffy in the beginning, and then it got a whole lot better. It got a whole lot better with
communications with the players in ESL, man.
Yeah, ESL is doing a great job. Like,
you respect them, they respect you, help each other out. You know, I don't think I know there's been a lot of like beef with EU in particular. You know, it sucks about what happened, but like ESL's just here to help. I hope people see that. You know, things will occur, but it's like, you know, just got to take it on the chip and go.
All right. Last question before we head out. Obviously, Garena Masters happening right now. One upset, BBC over Omega, but really anything else beyond that? Tech, you had a smirk. I'm assuming it's just about the name and not about the upset itself.
Yo, Tag, bro, chill, man.
Any thoughts on what's happening in Garena or any of the other regions?
I mean, Garena's just so talented. They got all these teams. I feel like Wolves just got a hell of a lot stronger with Island. So it's going to be interesting at stage 5. Not saying that we've already qualified. Not saying that. Please do not shoot me. You know, watching, playing, I feel like no matter what, this is probably going to be the hardest year.
All right. I hope so. Space, any thoughts? Garena, other regions?
I've had a very, very busy past week, so I didn't even know Garena Masters was happening, so thank you for telling me.
You're welcome.
I will be watching that tonight.
BBC versus Omega. That's the only one you need to watch.
Hey, last thing for the memes.
So wait, is there any? I've still been curious about this since the last time I watched the Spawn. Has it been confirmed about Skade going to the hospital and all? Like, I feel like that would be something.
Said it, but I don't.
I feel like that would be something that they.
Are you asking
like,
for receipts, Tech? Is that what you're?
No. It's like, man, like that's a bold
calls out
Skade. No, it's just like, you know, Skade's such a talented team.
Glories.
Like, it is crazy that they lost. I'm still gonna call him Skade. It's still crazy that they lost, but it's like, I don't know, man.
I don't see. Here's my thing. I don't see any way that team places outside of top 3, barring something like them going to the hospital. Like, I just don't see. We've never seen any team in COD Mobile Esports that's displayed that level of dominance for like the entirety of a year, and then in stage 4, like it wasn't even like there was group stages where they fought, like 7-0 in group stages, which we've talked about before is very different from Animus's 7-0 because it's like a very, very shaky EU region as compared to LATAM, which is like super competitive. So I don't see any way that they get absolutely bounced without winning a map outside something like that happening. But that's just me.
I agree, but one thing I want to add, and like I mean this with all due respect, like strategies are strategies, but this was after literally 1 week prior, Tactician got banned, and I know that Glories ran 4 Tactician stuns a lot of times, 3 Tactician stuns.
That's what I was saying.
So it was kind of a big change of pace for them. It changed their whole like kind of like style, and they only had like 1 week adaptation period, which kind of was unfortunate. Whereas other teams are getting a lot longer, including EU.
But to be also fair on that coin for Glorious, and this is just me playing the devil's advocate a little bit here, but from what I recall in scrims against some of these other LATAM teams, a lot of these LATAM teams ran at least 3 Tactician, like 3 to 4 Tactician.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they abused it. I hate it.
Yeah, and so
I would definitely give the edge to them, and like they were talented with their stuns. They were pretty precise.
Yeah.
You know how many clips I have of like my screen being white for like 10, 15 seconds? Like, you know how
Sorry, bro, me
insane that
too.
is?
Yeah.
No, it got to the point like where it was like so bad that like whenever it was happening to me in game, I just wouldn't even like. There's no reaction. I'm not like mad or frustrated. It's just normal. You know what I mean? Like
No,
it's just another day of streams at that
desensitized.
point.
No,
When
that
you
was-
have 5 people calling out their flash, you know, in a row, like that should be like a red flag. Like, hey, you know, we gotta fix this because you know, flash.
No,
should
yeah,
be
there's
doing that.
some times where you would be flashed and like the flash would go away and it's already halfway through the kill cam. Like it was just
there was
Good
was
God.
like last year, like Goofy Goober stage 4. Literally, I'm holding a lane. I have a trophy down with 2 other trophies. I see like 4, 5, 6 different like cross the map flashes. Look away for a second. I see Solo just doing 360s with the Card 98 on like found on slums. Like it was like, bro, like.
That's
Yeah,
Imagine how I
it's-
felt versus Q9 at stage 5 in that S&D reverse.
Yeah,
Man.
Oh yeah, for firing range. Yeah.
Yeah,
They
I, like-
literally changed up their whole playstyle on that timeout because of that technical bullshit that where I disconnected, man. We had 4 trophies on A site. Like we adjusted to it perfectly, but the trophies just don't stop flashes.
Yeah,
But I
and then,
mean, hey, that's where ESL.
Yeah,
started.
I wanted-
They're like, hey, we're gonna get rid of tacticians. So I mean, kudos to them for trying to make things work out.
I wanted to add that so like a lot of people know that flashes are like toxic and bad, but a lot of people don't really know why. And it's because it has like a radius. And so even if you're looking away, even if you're like not close to it, facing the opposite direction, if you're in like its blast radius or it's like I don't know the proper term, but no matter what, you'll get flashed by it, and that radius just happens to be bigger than the trophy system. So even if you're standing next to a trophy system, if flash explodes anywhere in the, like outside of that sphere, which the flash sphere is bigger than the trophy, you'll still get flashed. So like even if you had 2, 3 trophies, the flashes are still hitting you.
Correct. If I recall correctly, shout outs to the guys at Stats on Duty for this because I talked with them about it to check. It was like 7 meters is what the trophy radius is, and flashes have a radius of 13.2.
13?
I didn't even know it was that
Holy
bad.
hell.
I didn't even know it was that bad.
oh,
my
hell
gosh.
Nah. Oh, hell nah.
So
About to get it quickly before this, but
it's almost double the range. It's ridiculous.
I don't get paid enough to play this game.
Right?
while you guys are talking about LATAM, you know how TLE is not a #1 team. What do you guys think about that? What do you guys think? You
Have
guys
y'all
think
lost
TLE
any
is gonna win the
sleep
world
over that
champion?
yet?
Yeah, you guys think
I mean,
TLE is gonna win the whole
I
thing?
haven't lost any sleep personally. You know, I feel like you know, I'm probably still saying that. You know, I feel like at one point there was too many. There was even points at the time where people admitted, like before, like TLE was formed. You know, they did hack. So it's like, props to them. Always said that. You know, it's very like I feel them going to top 3. I don't think there was no deny about that. First, congratulations. You know, props to them. If we make the stage 5, I'd love to play them. Just end all that controversy.
Have
I
you-
feel
have
like
you guys-
Vague might have lost some sleep, but I'm good.
Have you
He's
guys
fighting a lawsuit.
Yeah.
have you guys been screaming them like recently? Has any of you guys been screaming TLE recently?
They didn't really
No.
scrim anyone after like that kind of vague thing happened. They
They've
only
been
stayed
going
like in
on
their
a-
region.
Mm.
Like,
I mean,
actually-
we started to scrim a little bit more like after the whole vague shit, but then it's like
No, yeah, we
they're stepping away right now. You know, their stage 4 is over. They get a chance to just relax, have fun. I mean, I don't know if they're still in Brazil. Probably not. But
No, they came back to Mexico.
then yeah, they're all just chilling, enjoying their little time off because it's gonna be like 4 months before their stage 5.
Yeah.
No rush. Enjoy your break. Enjoy your first place. You know, have fun.
Space, what about you, Space? We really know back in the day we used to be.
Yeah. So I
man.
mean, kind of the same thing along the lines of tech, but I've been saying it from the beginning. Like all of these, I usually get like my words taken out of context, but all of these players are very, very good at the game. Like cheating aside, no matter what context y'all want to take that in. So like I never had any doubt that these guys were really, really good. There was just always kind of like some doubts there, especially earlier on in the year, as everyone had. And I mean, even if we were mistaken, I feel like it's still kind of honored in that regard. But with the amount of like time and stuff that these guys put in, like I wouldn't like rank them any lower than top of LATAM. Like they've been putting in so much time as a team, and they've been putting in good practice, not just practice to play the game. So yeah, honestly, just props to them. They've done really good up to this point.
Speaking of TLE, hey Space, Zyrax is waiting on his apology. In the chat right now, we got Zyrax live.
What?
All right, no apologies. All right.
That's fine. I apologize. I do apologize.
Nice.
I mean, I'm gonna say I definitely have like I had suspicion that some of y'all were cheating, especially Zyrax early on. Like I'm gonna be honest,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna like back down on my word.
Gonna deny
I
too.
definitely had
I don't
suspicion
think you
on
should.
Zyrax that he was
it was-
cheating very early on because he came out of nowhere.
role
He was on
players.
fruits.
Exactly.
He came in
Yeah.
and dropped 55 kills. I was just like, Jesus, like that.
I'll
Like that
hop
doesn't
on
happen.
that.
There's-
Players like that don't come out of nowhere.
You gotta being a part of a community where someone like that comes out of nowhere. There's always going to be some concern. So I would take it more as a compliment. There was always a little bit of suspicion, but we always like went to our first thought, which was these guys are pro players regardless.
Yeah.
But is there anything outside of that that could give them a competitive advantage? And that's where our minds wander, especially when you've got a player who, like you just said, came out of nowhere and just dropping bombs like that. When they won stage 4, even going through group play, I think all doubt was erased then. I
Yeah,
mean, them winning it was just
I'll
icing on the cake for them.
I'll double down on that as well. It's like, the aspect of them coming out of nowhere and just like deleting the #1 team, the world champs last year on Tribe, and then the next day they're just absolutely like a tier 4 team. Like another issue was like with them was the amount of inconsistency in a team. I've never seen a team with that amount of inconsistency. So like,
That
I
too.
mean, but I mean, at the end of the day, now look at them. They're winners of stage 4 LATAM and are representing their region. So props to them, I guess.
One thing
Yeah,
I will
and-
say is like I hate like the tier 1 community in particular. Mainly because they talk about like, hey, we want to grow the scene and all this, but it's like whenever outside players start to come in, people are actually getting better, the competition's growing. If they don't know the player, it's like automatically like, yo, we need to push this guy out. Like he doesn't know us like that. He doesn't understand the society that we're building, and it's just like it's really scuffed. Like Solo, for example, Solo came out of nowhere. And people were just like, what the fuck is this guy on? And like, look at him now. And it's kind of just like, you have to give it time. And you just like, anyone that's coming in, you have to accept them and not be a dick.
Ops on that, yeah, true.
All right.
You got to get rid of that small PP energy.
Very, very well articulated verdict. Thank you.
Gotta get that BBC energy.
Gotta get that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was literally about
that's
to
the
say,
one.
You gotta get that
waiting for it,
BBC
little
energy.
B.
Yep.
Oh my god.
That little
All
bit
right.
thinking
Well,
about BBC this whole-
Whoa.
guess we'll wrap up the podcast on the BBC right there. So I think that covers about everything that we want to. Any final thoughts? Any breakdown for you guys? Any shout outs you want to give before we head into stage 4 in a couple weekends?
See y'all in Seattle.
Yeah, literally. That's it.
Wait,
See y'all
You'll
later.
see space in Seattle.
Nah. Space about to be a arena breakout pro. You better stream tonight. You about to be a
Oh,
arena
God.
breakout pro.
Yeah, you getting on, Luby?
Nah, hell no. I'm gonna
Yeah,
sleep.
yeah, he's
bro.
the new
Oh,
face.
dude.
He's the
You're not a
face
real
of
grinder,
mobile
bro.
gaming, bro. You got to get him on.
I
I'm gonna go play
literally,
some Minecraft.
I'm literally
I
world
would just say,
champion.
one thing before we hop off, and this is with all due respect to Tribe, because y'all are a fantastic team, like really, really, and I really mean it. But with all the, I guess, people that we've had in the past couple weeks that have been saying that Tribe is gonna beat us and win the entirety of stage
Ladies
4,
and gentlemen,
could we like ask for apology forms if we win?
You
stage
can't ask for
4?
apology forms yet. It hasn't happened. What do you mean you want apology
I'm just
forms?
saying, if it happens,
Well,
then
oof. You can't ask for that before it happens, man. Ooh.
Well, 7-0 curse going down.
That's all Hippo's fault.
Oh my
This
god.
clip will be played.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, I think that wraps it up for our 3rd episode of the podcast. Is that right? Or it's not a podcast.
Yep.
Who knows what it is?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
My second one.
So what is it? A talk
Alright.
show interview?
Talk show? Yeah. This is just Bobby Talks 2.0. That's
So
all it is.
wait. So how's the format gonna be? The spawn's gonna be on the co-stream, but when the players, we can try to get the chance to get players into the spawn while at the event.
Spawn
That
is
has-
not on the co-stream.
Yeah.
Spawn is separate.
Oh, okay, but
Yeah.
like,
Alright.
okay.
It'll happen.
I'm about to
afterwards.
replace Little B.
Hey.
There we go.
I need to start working on
That
my
mean you
casting
retiring
skills.
early? Let's go.
So for those of you who missed it, we will be hosting the Spawn directly after the Stage 4 action, or maybe like a little bit after to give the players time to eat or whatever, but we will have the Spawn up and running to break down all the Stage 4 action. So obviously that's not going to be next week. Well, it's kind of next week. I think we're going to have an episode before the action because it's also a weird format. It's like Sunday, Monday for Stage 4, so I think a lot of people probably don't realize that as well, but...
it's Labor Day though, so
yes. I also forgot about that. I was about to tell people to ask off work. You don't have to ask off work. You're good to go. That's going to wrap things up. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you to all of our guests for joining us as well. And we will be back next week, same time, same place. Make sure you guys subscribe and follow, and we will see you guys then.